I knew how many exits were in my vicinity. I was thinking about how I was going to cover my daughters and my wife if somebody were to come through. That I would sacrifice myself, right? All these images and all these thoughts were penetrating. Fear was penetrating my mind. Anxiety was penetrating my mind. And that's all I can think about. Welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Araujo, and you'll be able to catch a replay on this on Badass Agents podcast. Now, today's topic is very simple, and I learned so many lessons from it, just being aware of where my mind was going. But it's the influences we allow in our lives, right? And who you have in your ear matters. So, Easter Sunday was this past weekend, and you know, we get pretty excited. We have plans of what we like to do as a family, and one of them is going to church, right? Going to church and just starting out and giving, you know, I guess, our respects, our love to the sacrifices, right? For those of you that believe that Jesus made in order to forgive us as humans. And I always look forward to the topic that the pastor has, right? He has a way to be able to convey a message that's so powerful. It makes me appreciate it. I feel it through my body. The message is always on point. Well, yesterday before I went to church, I turned on the news. And when I say turn on the news, I was reading the news on my iPhone. And I noticed something that just got me in a negative place right away, in a sad place. In a almost debilitating place, right? Which was, I heard some news that happened about 10,000 miles away in Sri Lanka, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, Sri Lanka. And there were over 200 individuals that died on Easter Sunday. 200, right? Carried out by individuals that just simply hated a different group for different belief systems. And I was saddened by that because as soon as I read into that, I started doing a little bit more research, and I saw some pictures that were pretty gruesome. I saw some pictures of blood splattered on the walls. I read about how children and just every age group, were affected. 200 individuals, that's massive. And it gave me a little bit of anxiety, right? And I didn't think it was anything like it would affect me the way it did, but so I get ready. I didn't think twice about it after that, right? After doing my research and all into it, I thought I can just walk away from it. I thought it wouldn't impact me. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even a thought. Like, I wasn't reading this and say, I wonder how it's going to affect me the rest of the day, right? And oftentimes when we're in an environment like that, where something impacts us in a negative manner or in a fearful manner, it increases anxiety. We don't think later on how it's going to affect us throughout the day, whether it's a conversation with your family, right? Or it's a passive-aggressive conversation with family and friends. We don't think, well, this is going to affect me later. That is until I was at church. And we got there and we sat all the way in the back. It's like a stadium seating. It's really nice church. It's like, and it was packed. I mean, it was a room full of just people celebrating the same way I was. And I have to tell you something. I can't remember what the pastor said that day. I just can't. I know it was powerful. From time to time, I would feel the energy. I would get goosebumps on my arms, but my head was somewhere else. I couldn't be present. I couldn't appreciate where I was at. All I was thinking about was terrorists coming through this church and shooting the church up. That's all I could think about. I knew how many exits were in my vicinity. I was thinking about how I was going to cover my daughters and my wife if somebody were to come through. That I would sacrifice myself, right? All these images and all these thoughts were penetrating. Fear was penetrating my mind. Anxiety was penetrating my mind. And that's all I can think about. And I looked over, and anytime somebody would get up, I would like stare at them like, what do you have going on? And it all rooted from what I was reading, right? And this was only like a 10-minute read. I could only imagine, right? And I actually, I've been in that situation where I've been around negativity my entire life. No wonder I couldn't succeed. No wonder I couldn't find happiness, because I was constantly thinking about what was entering my mind, the negativity, the fear, the passive aggressive nature of family and friends. You can't operate from power if you're constantly in that space. I couldn't be present. I couldn't show true happiness. My mind was somewhere else. I was scared. I was in fear of my life when there was no indication something was going to go down there. Zero. But because I allowed my mind, right, to be overwhelmed by these thoughts, it created chaos within my own life. It created anxiety within my own life. And that's just a news story. So I want you to consider something. If it's year after year of disappointments, I want you not to pay attention to your performance, but the environments you are in, the people you're allowing to enter your mind. And oftentimes it is family, which is unfortunate. They are the bestest of friends, which is unfortunate. It's not your ability to create a life that works, to strive to have it all, to build a successful and profitable business. It's that we're constantly caught up in the thoughts and the comments of others. One thing that I read that I just never considered it is people, when in conversation, people are trying to make other people feel the way they are feeling. Whenever you have a conversation with someone, people are always trying to make you feel the same way you are feeling. If they're frustrated, they're telling you a story about how frustrated they are. What do you think their end game is? To make you feel what they're feeling. They're not doing maliciously. And maybe they are. But we have to be aware of this. Every conversation, when someone feels jealous, they're trying to make you feel jealous. Angry, they're trying to do the same for you. If they're upset, if they're miserable, people are trying to make you feel the same way they are feeling. And at the same time, there's also the individuals that lift us up. They're always happy. They're always find something positive about a situation, want to uplift your spirits. We'll always find a positive in something that has gone terribly wrong, because they're trying to make you feel the same way they are. And I'm inviting you to invite those individuals more into your life, and to identify those that are constantly trying to make you feel miserable, afraid, angry, frustrated. They're all over you. They're all around you. And if you can't get what you want from your business, you have lots of them. And you've allowed it to penetrate your mind. They're all around you. When I created distances from my relationships that I identified as negative or not on the same path as me, my life flourished. My finances flourished. Because I didn't let those thoughts overwhelm me anymore. I identified them. And I said, I love you, but I have to create distance from you. And some of you are receiving that from your own spouse, which is unfortunate. But it is your job not to fall into that trap, but to lead a greater mindset for the both of you. And we've all been in that situation. Passive aggressiveness that makes you shut down. For example, you get invited to a family function, right? There's family and friends there. You're like, oh, that'll be fun. And then your spouse says something like, that's if he or she has time, they're always working. How are you supposed to respond to something like that? That's passive-aggressive behavior there. Now, is it about you or is it about the other person's frustrations with themselves? Because they've maybe not reached a level in their life where they love what they do. I'm not saying grow hate towards them. I'm saying don't let those thoughts overwhelm you. You have to stand powerful. You have to stand strong. And they will eventually rise up to your level. I would do that all the time to Carla as well. I would encourage her to a certain point where she was just like doing more than I was. And then I would say something to offset her trajectory. Why? Because I felt less than. Most won't admit it. I'm saying it. I remember one time in particular, it was so visible. It was disgusting. I remember like she was preparing for a show and she's like looking tip-top shape. And I would go to the gym with her all the time, but this time I wasn't feeling good about myself. Again, I didn't know I was going through this. I'm identifying it now. I'm reflecting on it now. And I remember it was my mission to throw her off her path. Again, I didn't see it that way, right? But I was feeling frustrated with myself. And I remember she was working out and she was doing a pull-down bar. There's not many ways you can do that exercise incorrectly. But I found a way. And I said, you're doing that wrong. She has her earphones on. She's focused. I can't find my focus. I'm frustrated, so I attack. I blame. I want others to feel what I'm feeling. You're doing that wrong. What are you talking about? Let me show you how you're doing it. And guess what I did? I mocked her how she was doing it. And during that time, Carla was still taking a lot of my stuff, a lot of my shit. I shut her down. And she's like, you know what? I don't even feel like working out anymore. Let's just go. I felt terrible. But I did exactly what I planned out to do, what I seek to do. And it didn't feel good. But people will always make you feel how they feel. That is the objective. Whether in conversation or through passive-aggressive nature, they're trying to penetrate your mind. The same way the news was just overwhelming me, so I was so anxious. I couldn't be present. So if you're struggling with your business, it's not your skill set. Identify those people that constantly have problems in their lives, that are constantly telling you how frustrated and unhappy they are. They're trying to make you feel the way they are feeling. You will not outgrow someone who surrounds themselves with positivity. You will not. So if you're constantly hitting the ceiling and you can't break through, it's the people around you. Identify them. Create space. Because you're more than capable to succeed at a high level in this life. If you're constantly running into issues, trying to lose weight, to live a healthier lifestyle, it's the people around you. Because I promise you, if you hang out with me 24/7, your behaviors will change. Your mindset will change. Fulfillment will be part of your life. But I can't be there all the time. So you have to identify more and more people that have that same mindset, that have the things that you want, because you're no savior. Create the space. Otherwise, just be content with what you have today. And quit being so hard on yourself for not achieving what you want. Or go after what you want and create that space. Because environment's so important to your success. And here at Eddie's and Associates, I'm going to tell you something. It's become your normal. The way we talk, the way we're just so raw about what we discuss, it's normal in this environment. But it all changes when you're plucked away from here and put somewhere else. And a lot of people don't discover that until they're actually out. And we all need that positive reinforcement. We all need those people because the vast majority of the population is negative. And having this false sense of accomplishment, having our ego overrun our thoughts, it is the first step to retracting to your lowest form of habit. I saw that firsthand. As I had an agent come up to me and say, hey, I had this other agent that left, and they're trying to recruit me, AZ. They're saying about how great this company is. This franchise. I said, that's awesome. Let's just look at some numbers. Let's look at some numbers. And here are the realities. Let me pull this up because I don't want to give you misinformation. I do not want to give you misinformation. But I think we forget how good places are, environment is, when we think we have it all figured out. I'll be the first to tell you I don't have it all figured out. But you know the motto around here, right? No, I don't have it all figured out, but somehow I always figure it out. That's the motto. That's how we run things. That's how you operate. And I'm going to tell you something. We will retract to our lowest form of habit if we don't have the right people in our minds. We always do. I know I did. And that's why I continue to invest in the coaches that will guide me forward, in the consultants that will allow me to see something bigger for myself, because I know what I'm capable of when I'm not on my game. I know the destruction and chaos I can create when I'm not on the path. And I'm looking up some numbers right now because I don't want to give you misinformation. I'm not going to tell you who it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to tell you something. When you're gone 4 months from an environment that breathes and lives positivity, where we encourage a have-it-all lifestyle, where we encourage you to keep going regardless of the situation, where we remind you time and time again to take a stand for yourself and to impact others. I'll tell you one thing, it is priceless. Although we can put a number on it if we were to look. This individual, just in a few months, 8.2 million to 5.4. Before that, it was all growth. I'm not saying this environment creates wishes. What I'm saying, it reinforces behavior because of the negativity that most of society is in. $8.2 to 5.4. There's a real cost there. You don't get more confident. You become more scarce. I'm not a guru. This environment isn't magical. It's just real. That's all it is. Real. And we can have those real conversations when darkness sets in. Not avoid it or pretend everything's okay. Positivity will make you better. Environment will get you there faster. This morning, I went out to the track with Carla. And I got to meet a couple guys, dental school students, probably in their mid to late 20s. And we started talking because I saw them running before, right outside the field, because they hadn't opened the track yet, so they were doing their thing. So we both get lit in at the same time, and I start talking to them. I'm like, hey, so what are you guys running? What are you guys doing? They're like, yeah, we're going to run, a couple miles. And I said, well, what's your mile average? And they're like, oh, it's usually under 6, subpar 6. And I'm thinking to myself, holy cow. Like, I was coming in here, and I just wanted to do, like, under 8, right? And I said, wait a minute, well, I'm going to just try to keep up with them. I said, hey, guys, well, I'm going to run with you. Do you mind? Like, I wasn't scared of their success. I wasn't. I wanted them I wanted to be in an environment where there's people that are doing it at a higher level. So they were like, yeah, go ahead, man. So we're off. And obviously they took the lead right away, and I let that, but I didn't let them get away from me. I was about 20 yards behind them. But my first mile, again, I want to give you real numbers. I don't want to make this stuff up. My first mile, give me 1 second here, splits, 6:57. And then I went to 7:05 and ended it with 7:14 the third mile for an average pace of 7:06. That is my best 3-mile run. 7:06. Because I was in the right environment. It pulled me. I didn't say, oh, I'm 40 years old. They have 15 years on me. I'm just going to continue to play at 8-minute miles. That environment, those people encouraged me. Because an environment influences the way you think and believe and live. Environment influences how you think, believe, and live. It pushed me, but I feel good. I feel really good right now. I feel accomplished. At my best time yet. If they weren't there, I can't tell you that I would have pushed this hard. Guess what this environment does? Makes you push harder. Not to be content with your marketing, but to continue to build on it. We have some of the best marketers in this brokerage. Look around. No one does it better. Because we're all striving for more. No other brokerage has more podcasts than us. Because we have the courage to keep moving. So here's what I want you to do today. Is identify those people trying to make you feel the way they are feeling. Maybe they're frustrated, less than, jealous, angry, pissed off at the world. Create space. Allow them to go. Love them from a distance. Then identify those that are happy, excited, and positive, and committed, and healthy, and loving. Bring those guys closer to you. Give them a hug. A nice big hug. So guys, The thoughts that we allow in our minds will influence the productivity. The productivity as parents, as spouses, as business people. So let's get after it. We know exactly what to do. Who do we have on the call today? I just want to shout out to Jermaine Robertson. I see you, brother. Good morning. Cindy, thank you for joining me. Nick, Omar, good morning. Isela, Jasmine, good morning. Caroline, Claudia. What are you guys hearing in this conversation? Thought it was pretty insightful just because I was in the mix of it, right? Just didn't realize how these thoughts can just overwhelm us. I was genuinely scared in church. It's supposed to be a safe environment. Man, the thoughts that were going through my mind were unbelievable. But these are the same thoughts we allow ourselves to constantly be fed by the wrong people in our lives. What a shame, right? What a shame. I've been here for 4 years, and in that time have been through a difficult time in my marriage, the loss of my 2 fathers and another loss of my sister-in-law yesterday. I can't tell you how important being part of this environment has meant to me. It has made me feel all the difference in me continuing to move forward, to be encouraged, and to live life to my full potential. Have I met all of my goals? No. Have I given up? No. Many thanks to AZ and Carla and all you amazing agents for this amazing environment. Wow. What a testament, right? Got chills on that one, goosebumps on that one. And I've witnessed you be there. And you're a strong woman, and you continue to show up powerfully. Sometimes these situations can be very debilitating, only to make things worse as we shut down, right? As we create distance from our family because we're just so in our own thoughts that our marriage starts going in a different direction, in the wrong direction. Our eating habits, our mindset. And it's a decision to keep going. It hurts. But there's greater ramifications. There's greater ramifications when we shut down. When there's no income that comes in. Or you're so disconnected and create that fear within our own kids of how's mom doing? How's dad? They don't need that. They don't need to see that. They need to see strength, perseverance. That's what they need to see. All right, Patrick, surround yourself with positive people that are even ahead of the game so you can constantly grow. Absolutely. So true. Well, guys, I hope you got the same impact that I did from these lessons that I learned this weekend. Let's try to identify the thought or the people that we allow in our minds. It's about going after what we want, being fulfilled, and have it all lifestyle, right? Living that to the core. Thank you again for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. And if you haven't subscribed, rated, or reviewed, this will be on Badass Agents podcast, so you can listen to it. Please share that with your family, guys. I think this is important for everyone to hear, right? So rate it, subscribe, review, and share it. Share it with those that you love. And until next time, I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.